So as you all know, the Rogansphere has been sort of collapsing lately in terms of their relevance, in terms of their support. There's a whole bunch of YouTube channels that are now like dedicated to making fun of them. One of them here is American Redact, as you can see on screen. And yeah, it's just, it caught up with them. All of their fame, all of their like moment in the sun, it sort of caught up with them. And now people realize like, hey, they got super political and they don't really know what the fuck they're talking about. And so that's leading to some backlash. So here you have, there's a comedian by the name of Maron, who's, you know, he's been out there for a long time doing his thing. He used to be, I think back in the day, he was even an Air America radio host. And, you know, him and Rogan do not have the same politics. Maron is definitely on the left. And now Maron is sort of, he's sort of getting a moment in the sun here because in his recent special, he took aim at the Rogansphere and he went to town, bro. And it was beautiful. It was a glorious thing to see. And one of the things he said, if Hitler was alive today, I think he would go on Theo Von's podcast. And he had a whole bit about that, and it was pretty fucking funny. Well, apparently, he's guns blazing in every which direction for the Rogansphere. So we got a great video here from American Redact, and let's see what Maron's been going around saying.
The thing with Joe is I don't know that we have a lot to talk about because of my idea of what he's done to comedy.
Sure.
And I don't think it's great. I think that it's tribalized, and I think that, you know, he's created a sort of army of people that think they know comedy, but they only know a specific thing, and what they think is good is not necessarily good. It may be what they're like.
So it seems that Marc Maron has reignited his decades-long beef with Joe Rogan and his group of comedic assassins, as he just called them out on 2 separate podcasts in the span of a week. And Marc Maron's not just going after these guys because he doesn't like them. As he puts it, he has reasonable criticism for them.
It's reasonable criticism.
Reasonable criticism.
Yeah.
Like in his most recent special, Panicked, Marc actually spends a good portion of time calling out the anti-woke comedy scene that Rogan's forged in Austin, criticizing them for normalizing slurs, punching down at marginalized groups, and overall platforming dangerous ideas.
Pterodactyl arms? You're supposed to put that nigga on the grill. He ain't even supposed to live.
And if you haven't seen it already, I highly recommend you go watch that entire special. But to give you an idea of what he talks about in that special, here's him poking fun at the idea of Theo Von having Adolf Hitler on his podcast, and what exactly that would sound like.
I think if Hitler were alive today, he'd probably appear on Theo Von's podcast. And Theo would be like, see, y'all did a lot of meth, right? I mean, all the Nazis were all fucked up on meth, right, Hitler? That shit'll make you crazy, dog. I did some meth once. I was up for 3 days, and then I ate a live bird. No shit, Hitler, a live bird, bro. Hey, Hitler, you probably didn't even hate the Jews. That was just the meth making you crazy, dog.
So now he's on a podcast press tour for that new special, and he's sent shots left and right at the entire Rogansphere. Like in this recent Bad Friends episode, he goes at Rogan in a pretty hilarious and major way, roasting him for leading an army of enlightened meatheads, and predicting that they'll run out of material pretty quickly, since the majority of jokes that they tell are pretty surface-level jabs at marginalized groups that they've completely beaten into the ground. Like if you know anything about this Rogan era of comedy, you'd know that they do this quite frequently. Like to this day, they're probably still making COVID-19 jokes, and Marc Maron considers this shtick to be hack.
But yeah, me and who else?
Rogan.
Okay.
Who's that?
Joe
Rogan.
Joseph Rogan?
Yeah, he's out of Texas.
Oh, Texas. Got it.
Yeah.
I got it. Got it.
Yeah. You love Austin, don't you?
He's running half the planet out of Texas.
Yeah.
He's got a tight hold on the enlightened meatheads.
Dude, Maron's disdain.
It's not disdain. It's reasonable criticism.
Reasonable criticism.
Yeah.
When was the last time you spoke with him?
I don't know. That's a good question. I guess it would have been at the store. I never talked to him in Austin. I don't go into the club. I don't really think I'm on his radar. So
Something tells me you are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Something
tells me you are.
I don't. You know, it's weird that you get lumped into a certain thing, and maybe it's my assumption that you know, his army of healthy fellas.
Is that their title? Army of Healthy Fellas is so good.
No, you just got to got to stay and keep the machine.
The machine's got to be good.
Yeah.
That's a shot at Bert. Go ahead.
What do you think the Austin shelf life is going to be?
Well, I don't know. Like, I think that it's so effectively tribalized at this point. It really comes down to material. I mean, at what point? It's like whatever they represented in terms of policy. And it's not a stretch. It's like they won. Trans people are frightened. They have no ability to get health care anymore. And they're afraid of being alive and have no freedom left. So that's done. When do you stop with the jokes? And like immigrants, okay, well, they're being ripped away from their homes, and they're all terrified, and okay, so that's done. When do you stop with the jokes?
Right.
I mean, it's one thing to pick on the vulnerable and the marginalized, but I mean, they're down.
Yeah.
I mean, like, why do you got to keep hitting them unless you're a hack? Now, there's a question.
God, I love this guy, man. they do the whole like cry bully shit. They do the whole like victim shit. Like we're the victims and fucking woke society's holding us down and comedians should be a fucking protected class and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, bro, you guys hitched your wagon to fucking Donald Trump. Now the motherfucker is building concentration camps, okay? Now he's bombing Yemen. He's bombing Somalia. He bombed Iran. He's arming and funding a genocide. He's taking over Gaza. He's launching a trade war on all of our top allies, and now inflation is going up as a result of it. Unemployment is going up as a result of it. Now you own this shit, right? Now you own it. And like you said, you got these marginalized communities you were making fun at their expense, but guess what? Like, you guys won, bro. You guys won, and they're fucking hurting. So it's actually not funny. Like, this is actually not funny. I know Rogan doesn't buy into the mindset of like good comedy always punches up. Because I'm sure there are some examples where, like, you know, you could punch down and in theory you could find a way to thread that needle and make it witty and make it funny and make people like it. But, like, I mean, as a general rule, yeah, good comedy always punches up. Think of Bill Hicks. Think of George Carlin, for example. Like, a lot of these guys, they're the quintessential example. Like, they fucking punched up. That's what they did. And so they're legends as a result of it. They're both, you know, they're viewed as politics people, and like sort of, you know, philosopher type people, but also really fucking funny comedians. And they're the inverse of those people. They're just like right-wing hacks is what they are.
Marc,
He comes in swinging.
Yeah.
Another issue that Marc has with Joe Rogan was one that Marc's had a problem with since the early 90s, which is that comedy is supposed to be for the quote-unquote sensitive weirdos, not necessarily for the high school locker room bullies that Joe Rogan's ushered in. And even though I don't fully agree with this stance, since to me, if you're funny, you're funny, it is a stance that I've seen other comics take, like when Tim Dillon was calling out Brendan Schaub right after he released his insult of a comedy special, Gringo Poppy.
When I watch Brendan do that, it's like I go, here's a big, tough guy who I should just see in a Ferrari, and he should be able to rip people's faces off with his catcher mid hands. And I see him running around the stage going, oh! I go, you're gay now. You've become gay. Why are you gay?
He was a fucking knight. He was a knight. He's a knight. And now he's a jester.
Now he's gay.
He's a gay jester.
He's a gay man. He's a fully gay man. When you watch the special, he's like, woo!
Yeah, I get it. I sort of agree with the American Redact guy, though. Like, it's possible to not be, like, a dweeb and make it in comedy, and, like, that's totally cool. But, again, general rule type thing, yeah, it was for, like, misfits. You know what I'm saying? People who felt like they didn't fit in normal society, and they found this little niche for them where, like, oh, I can speak my mind, and I can, like, get some attention, and I can make something of myself and stuff. So, like, I can get both sides of that. But, to me, that's not the issue with Rogan is not that. I mean, now I'm going to contradict myself a little bit. Because, yeah, there is something a little bit contradictory about being, like, this jacked guy who's into MMA and into working out. And, like, you're a jack of all trades. You're, like, a Renaissance man. But then also, like, comedy is your thing. I feel like comedy, the real true comic geniuses, those are the ones who, like, all they have is comedy. Like, that's their whole thing. You know, whereas Rogan's got like 78 different interests. And I mean, God bless him for that. Like, that's not a negative thing. That's actually a positive thing. And more people should have a lot of interest. Like Joe Rogan has a lot of interest, but it definitely does sort of take away a little bit from the comedy. But to me, the bigger point is it's the Trump. It's going to always come back to the Trump thing. It's just sheer fucking hackery. And Joe knew better. He knew better. All the bullshit, oh, Trump's pro-free speech. No, he's not. Rogan knew he's not pro-free speech. He knows that's complete and utter garbage. He knows that this is a guy who wants to de-license news outlets that criticize him. Okay? Nonsense. Oh, Trump is anti-war. Joe knew that was bullshit. He's had me on his show, and I've told him to his face that Trump increased drone strikes over 400% in his first term alone. Okay? On that point alone, we're done here. Never mind the killing of Qasem Soleimani illegally. Massive escalation with Iran, pulling out of the Iran nuclear agreement, trying to coup Venezuela, stealing oil from Syria and occupying Syria. Like he knew all these things. And so that's why it's so immensely hacky.
Marc's main issue with this is that the weirdo alt comics have sort of been pushed to the side in recent times. And when Marc brings this point up to Bobby Lee, he actually gets him to join in on trashing Austin comics, which was just great to see.
That's a problem.
I'm telling you, man, the tides have turned on these guys. It really is incredible. They had their moment in the sun, and now everybody's sort of like, hey, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
So... And the bigger
talking about the Rogansphere, I mean.
Bigger problem about what you're saying, yes, I think we all still do exist, but the nature of the comedy business is fragmented and some of it's tribalized. But there used to be a lot more weirdos around who were kind of exciting and interesting and took it a different place. I would argue with just talky talk comedy, there's not that many people bringing it to a different place, dude.
Right. Well, there is some good ones that, like, I think that kid Casey Rocket's really entertaining and fun and different and unique. I think they're there, right?
Yeah.
I think the problem is there's so much sludge, there's so much shit, there's way more noise than we've ever fucking seen.
Yeah.
So it's hard to appreciate or even care because all that's really being shown is kind of the constant, like, give it to him, give it to him, give it to him, give it to him. So I get it.
I'm tired of the attitude.
I thought you were going to say violence in this country.
No. I'm tired. They come up back to LA. One guy, I want to name his name. I go, oh, you seem like you're thriving. And he goes, I'm killing it.
Killing it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, whoa, dude. You moved out because you couldn't survive here.
Yeah.
This is a different.
It's an animal.
It's an animal.
Well, I think the weirdos you're referring to, by the way, were birthed, and I defend this till I'm fucking blue in the face, were birthed at the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
And I think I always push, I was like, people don't know that about the store. They think they hear this like corporate bro, and that happens internally in LA a lot too, where they're like, the store is a fucking, whatever, sellout factory of fucking bro comics. Because
not anymore.
No, but there was a wash of it that came through, and I think...
Yeah, Joe, they moved to Austin.
But I think,
at some point with these comics, with Joe's era of comics, it wasn't about comedy anymore. It became more about, I'm going to say the offensive thing that I'm not supposed to say that's going to get me backlash. And so really, it wasn't comedy anymore. It became like controversy farming. And like Tony Hinchcliffe's a great example of that. And it's like, at some point, anybody can say the thing that you're not supposed to say. Anybody can be offensive, right? And if you're just in a competition to see who can be the most offensive, who can piss off the most people, like, all you're getting is like oohs and ahs and uhs in the audience. It's not really a laugh anymore. And that's the point, is that like we've hit peak anti-woke bullshit where, and that's how you get all these people supporting Trump, either passively or actively. And like, yeah, that bubble has burst. And thank God it's fucking burst because it's long overdue. And all it took was Trump building concentration camps and rounding up innocent people with no due process before everybody went, that maybe we shouldn't have embraced this as a society. Yeah, that seemed like a bad idea. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.